Iran's dark reality, the rise of femicides and honor killings amid protests. As Iran marked the second anniversary of the Women Life Freedom protests sparked by the death of Mahsa Amini on September 16th, the brutal reality for Iranian women remains dire, with femicides and honor killings on the rise. Despite the regime's harsh crackdown on protests, reports from organizations like IranWire revealed that at least 23 women were murdered across Iran in August alone, with most of the killings committed by close relatives and so called family disputes or honor killings. Many victims, including teenage girls forced into child marriages, suffered horrific fates at the hands of husbands, fathers, and cousins. Sociologists and activists point to the clash between traditional values and modernity as fueling the violence and warn that as long as Iran's laws remain rooted in Sharia, the epidemic of femicide will persist amid ongoing repression. So I thought that this was a really important story to cover because we would be dishonest if we framed the danger and oppression that women face in Iran as solely coming from the government, right? There is a lot of discrimination and abuse that women face within Iran that comes from within their own families, within their own clans, and within their own villages and provinces and so forth, right? And some of these killings that happen, because I'm all about transparency here, or trying to clarify things as much as possible. Some of these 23 killings were, let me see, 17 were murdered by close relatives, including husbands, fathers, and sons. 13 were killed by their husbands, 2 by their fathers, and 2 by their sons. The remaining 6 were murdered by unknown individuals. There were some women that were also killed in grapes or robberies. So not all of these spikes are exclusively honor killings. But reading through the reports of some of this honor violence, because that was a huge motivation for most of these recent spike in femicide murders, come from women who were forced into child marriage. Iran allows marriage for girls as young as 13 and who were basically seeking divorce. And because of that, they were seeking divorce. In 2 of these cases where we have more information, they were murdered in cold blood by their fathers. One woman, her name is Majideh, was literally asleep with her children in the house when her father came into the house and just murdered her in her sleep. There was another woman named Mobina who was only 17 years old, who was literally killed with a shotgun in front of the rest of her family. And then her father was still allowed to go to her funeral, even though he was literally the murderer. And it speaks to reading into the reporting of these cases. I think it's important for people to understand the mentality. The father that murdered Majida in her sleep said that he stabbed and killed her in her sleep, then calmly drove back home. He showered and told his wife to postpone her eye surgery, saying, "I killed Majide, and now I'm going to hand myself over to the police." Like, that's how nonchalant it is. Um, and so, Armin, have you heard anything about this recent spike in Persian media? You often usually have a lot of interesting and more detailed insight into these issues.
Okay. I do want to, so yeah, these things do happen in Iran, and they should be highlighted. And by the way, Amir was saying, I'm trying to read the graffiti on the wall, and the wall says Zan Koshi Bas, which means basically stop it with the femicide, stop killing women, and end woman killing. That's what the graffiti on the wall says. I do want to defend the Iranian people, okay?
Of course.
Because as yeah, I know, I don't, so because some people, I mean, I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't be highlighting this. Obviously, this should be highlighted, and I appreciate Susanna highlighting it. Like, I don't want people to get the wrong impression. This is a cultural issue that needs to be that we need to fight. I just want to mention that when it comes to, I just want people to not come up with conclusions about general trends in Iran based on events like this, because we also have to look at proportionally what is the average Iranian think like and what their mindset is like. This is a huge problem in Iran, but the average Iranian is very much against this and hates this. Unfortunately, when we're talking about, I don't know, like Pakistan or Afghanistan, when I say that the Taliban, for example, is an actual representative of what many people in Afghanistan want, I'm not just basing that on just anecdotal stories. I am using statistics. I showed you the statistics of the viewpoint and how in Afghanistan, what percentage of the people in Afghanistan, based on Pew Research, they want Sharia law, right? And when I also say, so again, the reason why I'm saying this is because I don't want people to think that, oh, so the problem in Iran is so deep rooted within the people that there's no hope, even if we get rid of the Islamic Republic. This is so, I'm not saying you're saying that, Susan. I'm just wanting to make sure that people don't come up with the conclusion that, okay, so this is so deep part of their culture that even without the government, the people there would have these standards, right? And the reason why, again, am I saying that because I'm Iranian myself and I'm saying this because I am biased? Actually, no, I have data for that, right? I just wanted to make sure that you know that when I'm saying those things about Afghanistan or Pakistan, I'm using data. And when I'm saying that about Iran, I also have data, right? This is not an emotional appeal, right? So what you're seeing here is that Iran actually, among countries studied, has the highest gap between what people's values are and what the lives they're living under. Like, so when I say that the division between the Iranian people and their government is the highest in the world, it's actually, that's not just me saying some beautiful flowery words that we could celebrate here together, like, oh, that's so beautiful. This is based on data. You can see actually the gap between the potential for liberal democracy and the actual freedom that Iranians have. Is the gap is the biggest among all these other countries that have been studied. So again, the gap that the divide being so wide, we have data to support that. That's it. I just wanted to make sure that we add that.
That's a really interesting figure you have there. Wow.
Yeah.
Um
I should send it to you.
Yeah, but I think so. One thing that I also wanted to bring into this was that recently there was a little bit of a mini scandal when Iran's National Civil Registration Organization website removed statistics from the website that they used to report on that showed that there were 1,500 children that were born to mothers under 15 in the last few years. And this was, wait, let me find the quote, an insane increase in the number of children. Yeah. In 2020, 346 babies were born to girls under the age of 15, according to a report by IranWire, citing the Statistical Center of Iran, the latest such figures available. This means that the number of babies born to girls under 15 in Iran has surged by an alarming 312%, rising from 364 in 2020 to around 1,500 in 2023. And then what's so notorious is when the agency was asked about this, they literally said that basically, well, they asked us to like, and hasn't there been an order to stop this tragedy among pregnancies among girls under 14? They responded, no, the only order is to not publish the statistics.
Wow.
So
They're actually encouraging it.
yeah, but then don't want to like
The
show it.
government. Yeah. Anyways, I do want to go to the next news because I'm trying. We can make it under. We have 20 minutes for the next news. We can make it under 3 hours. It's possible.
Okay. For those who are not aware, we try to
Guys,
keep
the reason
show
why,
under 3 hours because of our editor. It helps them
yeah,
out.
yeah, our
Um,
editor, we have to make it, yeah, under 3 hours. So 1 minute.
okay, so this is a lot to unpack though.
Let's
Oh,
just
we have some
quickly read
super
the
chat.
super chat. Yeah, by Tal.
Tal,
I
2
don't even
likes
know what.
by Vidi Veritas. Me will figure out membership. Basically saying he's switching between multiple accounts to give us more likes, which is actually a
Oh,
reminder to everyone. Please like the stream. It helps us
thank
out.
you.
Subscribe if you learned something today. Leave a comment about what your favorite segment was like after the show's over. It really, really does help the channel, and it's free. Or you can become a member and make sure that this show can continue. It makes a huge difference.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.